Welcome to Hot Takes and Game Breaks, and we have a loaded slate this week. This is one of those weeks we've been waiting for. I'm Matt Nepper. He is Taylor Druckenmiller. How's it going, Taylor?
What's up, man? This is the perfect week for your favorite team to have a bye week.
That's,
Stress-free football. Get to watch all these good games, and I'm looking forward to it, man.
yeah, you guys had that lucky bye week last year too. I believe October 12th was that big time slate with Ohio State, Oregon, USC, Penn State, and you guys got to sit on the couch and watch that too.
Yeah, gives the coaching staff time to sit down and jot some notes down on these teams that we got coming up, and yeah,
Oh yeah, yeah. It's definitely going to be an interesting week. A week that I hope we start learning a lot about this landscape of college football. There's some big SEC matchups, some really big Big Ten matchups, some trap games. Got the full slate. Let's just
yeah,
jump
and
right
one
in. Oh,
yeah, well, real quick, one thing I was looking at all these teams, and like none of these teams really have like a look ahead spot going into next week. So I feel like that makes these games even more interesting. These teams are more locked in and stuff. So yeah, you're right. Let's jump in.
and what better way to start than big noon kickoff, where USC travels to take on the Fighting Illini after the embarrassment that happened in Bloomington. Illinois trying for that big bounce back spot. USC still has a lot to prove in the Big Ten. How's this game shake out?
Man, I tell you what, Illinois has some making up to do this week, that's for sure. Yeah, you got Lincoln Riley complaining that they played the late game, the latest possible game last week, and the earliest possible game this week, and wham, wham, wham. Who cares? But yeah, I mean USC's defense is not fixed. The new defense coordinator they brought in, they gave up 31 points to Michigan State last week, I believe. So that's not good. And Illinois, uh, I don't know what happened last week. I don't think Illinois ha knows what happened last week, but yeah, I'm gonna take the Illini and the points in this game. I do think USC is gonna win. If USC wants to make the playoff, this is like a must-win game for USC because they got at Notre Dame still, they got Oregon, they got Michigan, at Nebraska, so they have a loaded schedule coming up. So yeah, I think USC is gonna win, but I think Illinois covers this.
It's definitely a sleepy spot for them. Noon, that's like 9 a.m. Pacific time. It's Illinois coming off a humiliation. I mean, Indiana dropped 63 on them, so I think Illinois has also got a lot to prove. I feel like they're physical, and USC over the years historically has not shown to be able to stop a physical offense. Sure, Indiana manhandled that offense. I believe Illinois was held to like 3 or so yards rushing. It was bad. It was an annihilation. But it's a new start. I got Illinois covering the plus 6.5. I don't know if they win, but I, I don't want to take USC minus 6.5. That just seems like a gigantic spread for a game where Illinois is ranked right around where USC's ranked. It just doesn't make any sense.
It didn't make any sense last week, and you see what happened though. So
Yeah,
so hopefully history doesn't repeat itself.
I know, right? I know. So we both got Illinois in that one. Moving on, another noon game. You got the Notre Dame Fighting Irish traveling to SEC country to take on the Arkansas Razorbacks, where Notre Dame is a slight 4.5 point favorite. Hmm. This is a very interesting one. How's this one play out?
Yeah, this is definitely an interesting one. So Notre Dame, their defense has not looked good at all this year, really. I feel like one of their best defensive games was against the hardest opponent they played in Miami. They gave up 30 to Purdue last week, 40 to Texas A&M the week before that. And Arkansas is a high-powered offense. Taylor Green, great quarterback. But on the other hand, Arkansas, they've lost two heartbreakers back-to-back weeks. I've heard some rumors of Bobby Petrino already trying to get a head coaching job. So yeah, I think Arkansas is falling apart. I think Notre Dame has a lot to prove still. I don't know if their playoff hopes are done for yet. I mean, if they win out, maybe they have a chance. So feel like this would be a good start to get going. The run game, Jeremiah Love, I see him having a huge game. And yeah, I think Notre Dame's going to make plays. They're going to force turnovers against Arkansas. I mean, if Memphis can force 3 turnovers against Arkansas, I think Notre Dame can do that too. So yeah, I'm going to lay with Notre Dame. I think Notre Dame wins this convincingly.
This feels like a get right game for Notre Dame. Arkansas, like they're both battle tested teams. Notre Dame more so, they had to play against Miami at Miami and Texas A&M, which looks like a better version of Arkansas. And that A&M Notre Dame game was pretty fluky. Came down to the missed bad hold on the extra point. Really is the determine that game. Arkansas just seems to have bad luck. I've watched a few of their last games and untimely turnovers and just inability to get points and when they need it in clutch times. Notre Dame, they're only favored by 4.5, but I feel like they're gonna cover this one easily. This is a get right spot. They're gonna be the more physical team. They're gonna be the team that doesn't turn the ball over. The spread's crazy to me. 4.5. I don't know why the spread dropped so low. I believe it opened at like 7.5 or even higher than that. I think these bettors are just like hoping this is a chaotic week. I just don't see it in this particular game. I think Notre Dame cruises. Now, the 3:30 time slot. The number one team in the country travels to the Pacific Northwest to take on Washington Huskies. I'm talking about the Ohio State Buckeyes, where they are a 7.5 point favorite. You're an Ohio State hater. How do you have this game playing out?
I'm not a hater this week. I'm a realist this week. I don't know. I don't think Washington's going to be able to keep up with Ohio State. I think Ohio State's defense is way superior than Washington's. I see Ohio State being able to run the ball easily. I think Caleb Downs would be a big impact in this game. But I mean, Washington does have players. I mean, their quarterback is dual threat quarterback. They have Jonah Coleman. He's a projected first round pick. Denzel Boston out at receiver. He's a projected first round pick. But I just don't know if they have the firepower to, or I wouldn't say the firepower. I don't know if they have the defense to stop Ohio State. And I think Ohio State is going to force turnovers. They're going to get sacks, get Washington third and long, and I think that'd be the difference in the game. So yeah, I'm just going to take Ohio State. I think it's a no-brainer.
No brainer. Now, Washington has the second longest home win streak in the country. It's tough to play in the Pacific Northwest, in Seattle, in Washington. It's a tough place to play. It's also tough for Big Ten teams and Eastern and Central Time to travel out west. I believe they're 3-13 in their last 16 games traveling out west. That's not including the Rose Bowl where Ohio State did beat Oregon by decisive matter. But in regular season games, it's hard to travel across the country. I think that's a big reason why the spread dropped from when it was last week was 13.5. Now it's 7.5. That's a whole touchdown difference. If this game was Ohio State minus 13.5, it'd be very tempting to take Washington. But Ohio State just has too many playmakers. You know, that Washington defense is shaky at worst. You know what I mean? I feel like they are not great. They've given up points to bad teams. Washington State got smacked around by North Texas. Okay, yeah, Washington scores 59 against them. North Texas is the same exact thing. Now, would Ohio State be a 7.5 point favorite on the road at North Texas? No, they'd be like a 20, 30 point favorite. So why are we giving this out to Washington? Like I said, it's the fact that teams are not good traveling West Coast and that Washington has this giant win streak. But a lot of that was with Kalen DeBoer. This ain't the Kalen DeBoer, Michael Penix, Washington. This is Washington 2025. And their signature win last year was against Jack Tuttle and the Michigan Wolverines at home. This ain't Jack
We
Tuttle.
almost beat them. We almost beat them.
And you almost beat him. This offense has way too much firepower. This defense, very good. I know Washington has a little Kyler Murray Jr. at quarterback there, but Matt Patricia has seen it all in the NFL. I got Ohio State covering. It will be uncomfortably close for a while in this game, but I think Ohio State just has too much firepower, and there are bigger question marks at Washington's defense than at any other position on that field. And that's, you just gotta go with like who are the playmakers and who can get what done. And the X's and O's says Ohio State has the advantage strongly, especially when it's the offense going against the defense.
Yeah, so I seen a funny stat. It says Ohio State has 19 straight unranked road wins, right? And I was wondering why, it wasn't just like overall how many unranked wins they have in a row, but I forgot. I forgot they lost to unranked Michigan last year. So unfortunately, they have to put 19 straight unranked road wins instead of whatever straight unranked wins. But yeah, I had to take a shot. Go blue.
So I was thinking of this stat today, thinking that teams that finished the season last year with a loss. Ohio State, Texas, Penn State, and I believe SMU all finished the season with a loss. Combined, Ohio State won the national championship, Texas made it to semis, Penn State made it to semis, SMU obviously lost to Penn State. The teams that finished with a win: Boise lost in the first round, Oregon lost in the first round, Georgia lost in the first round, and Tennessee lost in the first round. There's a trend here. Winning or losing that final game of the season, winning doesn't matter at all, really. Losing it, you're better off. I mean, that's what the stats say.
Whatever makes you feel better, dude.
Am I wrong? I mean, Arizona State won their last game, they lost. Every team, other than Notre Dame, off the top of my head, ended up losing in the first game they played of the playoff after winning their last game. The math is mathing. That's all I'm saying.
Let's move on.
Let's move on to two playoff hopefuls. You got the LSU Tigers traveling to Ole Miss, where Ole Miss is a slim 1.5 point favorite against the number 4 team in the country. I know Ole Miss is a tough place to play. How's this one play out?
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss has LSU's number, and they have for a couple years now. And these games are always shootouts. But the last few years, LSU has not had a defense. And this year they're ranked 20th in defense in the nation right now. And I mean, they played Clemson in Florida and then two sorry Louisiana schools or whatever. But I think that's still impressive. So I'm gonna go with LSU in this one. Ole Miss is starting their D2 quarterback again. I'm guessing their freshman Austin Simmons or whatever is ready to play, but this D2 quarterback has been balling out the last couple weeks, but he also played against Arkansas and Tulane, so that's not saying much. Yeah, I think LSU is going to come in Ole Miss and beat them. Give me LSU.
So you have an immovable object versus a force that can get pushed around. The immovable object is the LSU run game. They can't do anything on the ground. Ole Miss, on the other hand, is the object that can take it, like they just can't stop the run. And then you have a team that can't run the ball playing against a team that can't stop the run. Something's got to give, right? Something's got to give. Now, Ole Miss, they have an offense. Sure, they got the backup quarterback, but he looks pretty good. LSU's offense has been way shaky. I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but they've only scored 3 offensive touchdowns in the first half this year. They're a slow starting team. And when you're on the road in a hostile environment, sure, I know they've done it in Clemson. They've done it at Clemson, but maybe Clemson wasn't that good. But when you're on the road against a hostile crowd, you want to get up early. And this ain't just any hostile crowd. These are drunk frat boys partying all day. Sure, it's 3:30. Maybe it would be more exciting if it was a prime time. Maybe it'd be Ole Miss minus 3.5 if it was 7:30 and not 3:30. Doesn't matter. I think Ole Miss pulls off the upset, and there's a storm field. There's like they're gonna storm the field. Storm fielding. Is that a word? Maybe. I don't know. A field storming, I think, is what I'm thinking of.
There you
Yeah,
go. There you
there
go. I
we
think
go.
that's better.
There we go. Yeah, field storming. And yeah, I think LSU just hasn't impressed me at all this year. And I mean, DJ Lagway threw 5 interceptions and a pick six. And what they scored? 20? That LSU offense. If they can't get going against Ole Miss, then they won't be able to get going at all. It's always something with LSU, right? You had the Heisman winning quarterback a couple years ago, but they couldn't stop anybody. Now they have a defense, but the offense can't get going. It's always something with that team, right?
We'll see. Go Tigers.
Yeah. I got Ole Miss, you got LSU. Now, the hyped up, maybe the SEC game of the year. Maybe it would have been better if Alabama beat Florida State, but 7:30 ABC, Alabama comes to town and they go to Georgia, where Georgia is only a 2.5 point favorite. It's kind of crazy, right? Alabama, number 17, playing at number 5. You're telling me if this was on a neutral field, Alabama would be favored against Georgia? That's interesting. That's interesting. But Alabama at Georgia. Georgia's favored by 2.5. How does this one play out?
Man, you're right. Now that I think about it, this line is really off. I think they're going based off of history, and I think Alabama has had Georgia's number. But um, but yeah, man, I think Georgia coming off a bye after a big win at Tennessee, a game that they probably didn't deserve. They've had a week to fix their mistakes, get their defense. I mean, their offense was rolling against Tennessee, but their defense wasn't. So I feel like last week was a good week to have off. So, fix those defensive issues because I feel like Alabama is going to play similar to the way Tennessee played. They're going to throw the ball a lot, take shots down the field. So I feel like that definitely favors Georgia. And I see Zachariah Branch having a huge game, a wide receiver for Georgia, transfer from USC. So yeah, give me the Bulldogs. I think they win this by double digits.
So this one, something's got to give, right? Alabama has had Georgia's number. I mean, I think it's no secret that Kirby Smart has an Alabama problem. I think the only game Kirby Smart has won against Alabama was that national championship game, I believe 2021 season. Alabama has a problem on the road, though, and Georgia doesn't lose at home. When has Kalen DeBoer won a big game on the road? I think the LSU game last year, but that's the anomaly. This is the same team that lost at Vanderbilt, lost at Oklahoma, at Tennessee, at Florida State. And now you can tell me they're going to come to Georgia? Not you, because obviously you don't think it's going to happen, but people that they're going to come to Georgia and pull off an upset. I I don't even see it being close. I mean, think about it. The Oklahoma game was just a whooping. The Florida State game was a whooping. Alabama, like Kalen DeBoer's claim to fame at Alabama was that Georgia game. People don't remember, but Alabama was up, what, 35 nothing? At least it felt that way, maybe 35-10. And Georgia climbed back and took the lead. And then Ryan Williams does probably the most spectacular play. That catch, spin move, touchdown. Phenomenal. I don't see that happening at Georgia. I just don't see it happening. I see Georgia cruising. I think this is the same Alabama team that can't win on the road. Like, unless they can prove they can win on the road, This ain't Nick Saban's Alabama team either. Sure, Kirby Smart has lost to Kalen DeBoer, but that illusion of Alabama being this big bad monster in the SEC thrown out the window. And I think Georgia sees right past it right now. They're like, okay, yeah, you guys can't handle the crowd noise. You guys are soft. Georgia rolls, covers easily. In fact, it's over under at 53 and a half. I wonder about that one. I wonder about the over under because last year was a shootout. If you're going to have Georgia winning by only 2.5, I don't know. I feel like something's got to give with this. Either the over under is way off or Georgia by 2.5 is way off because I don't see Georgia not scoring points. And if they do score points and Alabama scores points and it's only a 2.5 game, then the over under is way off, in my opinion. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah, I get what
Hmm.
you're saying.
All right. And now going to Big Ten country where we finally have it. We have a big primetime game in the Big Ten. How long has it been since we've had a big time night game in the Big Ten? How long has it been since the whiteout was a national spectacle? It does bum me out that they have to share the spotlight with Alabama, Georgia. But this feels like the better game. And I'm talking about number six Oregon at number three Penn State, whiteout crowd. It's a game that we're going to learn a lot about these two teams and the landscape of college football. And I can't wait to sit down and watch it. I might be more excited about this game than I am to watch my Ohio State Buckeyes. You excited about this one?
Yeah, I think anybody would be more excited about this than Ohio State.
Uh,
But yeah, man, I think th this is gonna be a hell of a football game. I think Oregon's the better team, but obviously Penn State at home with the whiteout. Uh, but I tell you what though, I feel like there's no other coach in college football I'd rather go into this hostile of an environment with with Dan Lanning. Like, I mean, I feel like he's a great coach, great motivator. He's gonna have those guys ready to roll. Dante Moore, this is definitely his biggest game of his career. I know he played at UCLA his freshman year, and I don't think he even had any big games. Like, I mean, not even to like this magnitude, but in general. But and then Oregon's number one receiver, DeCorian Moore, true freshman receiver. He's been balling out this year. Um, Interested to see how he does in an environment like this against a Penn State team like this. And then Dante Moore, thankfully, has Kenyon Sadiq, their tight end. He's a beast, projected first round pick. But with that being said, I'm still gonna go Penn State, man. I think this is gonna be a really good football game. But I mean, I see Penn State winning this. Like we'll call it 31 to 24 type game. 31 to 31-27, Penn State. I'm gonna call that out. But yeah, I think James Franklin, improves his 420 record to 5-20. And yeah, Penn State's gonna win this.
James Franklin can't win the big game. James Franklin can't win the big game. That's all anybody has said about Penn State for the last, what, 8 years now? You can't win the big game until you can win the big game. I mean, Ryan Day. Oh, he can't beat top five teams. He can't beat top 10 teams. Until you get that win, there's always going to be that narrative about you. Did you know Dan Lanning against top 10 teams? 2-4. So can Dan Lanning win the big game? I mean, sure, he's only had 6 opportunities at it, but it's one of those weird ones. Like the whole country's betting against. Like I feel like if you were to ask people right now, Penn State, Oregon, who do you got? Like if your life depended on it right now, who are you picking? Are you gonna trust James Franklin or Dan Lanning? And everybody's like, you know what? If my life really depended on it, I guess I'm going with Dan Lanning. What has Dan Lanning done? Both these coaches, their signature win as a head coach was a barely close ass win against Ohio State at home in a nighttime environment. That's what both these coaches have in common. What has Dan Lanning done other than that? So, Oregon at Penn State. Penn State, oh man, they can't throw the ball. Oregon, oh man, do you see what they did to Oklahoma State? Did you see what they did to all their non-conference opponents? And then, oh, that game against Northwestern, that's a little closer than we would like. Oh, Penn State. That game against Nevada, they didn't have that many explosive plays. We don't know much about either of these teams. But one thing I do know, whiteout conditions. I'm taking Penn State minus 3.5. I think James Franklin is a coach that hasn't won the big game, but you're that coach until you do. And this is his opportunity. Penn State just needs us more. Penn State, I just, they have been crying in Happy Valley for what, 5 years now, how they want to have a big time, prime time whiteout game. They hate Big Noon kickoff because Big Noon has stolen the thunder out of the whiteout. And they finally have their opportunity. Time to capitalize. Come, if James Franklin, if you can't get it done against Oregon with this loaded roster, you guys returned everybody, then when are you going to get it done? I am laying it on Penn State. Dan Lanning hasn't proven that he can win this type of game. The same coach that lost in his most hostile environment he's played at Washington, and where he had the better team. I just don't see Dan Lanning's team pulling this off. I don't know why I'm going with James Franklin. I just am. Penn State wins and covers the 3.5. I went on a little rant there.
Yeah, it's all good, dude. But yeah, I think Penn State wins this. Nicholas Singleton and Katron Allen, I think they have a big game running the ball. And yeah, I don't even think Drew Aller's gonna be asked to do too much. But yeah, Dante Moore's got a lot of work to do in this one.
And I think it's I think they had one road game and that was at Northwestern, but they literally played at a high school stadium. I mean, at Northwestern and at Penn State, night and day, literally and figuratively.
Yeah.
But I'm getting all fired up. So let's do our rapid fire picks, where we're just gonna pick 3 games and just drop the spread real quick on them, what we think is gonna happen. So Auburn at A&M. Auburn or A&M's favored by 6.5. Who you got win this game?
I think Auburn's gonna cover this. I think Texas A&M wins the game, but I think it's gonna be a defensive battle. I take the under in this game for sure. See a lot of running the football, kind of like the Oklahoma game last week. So yeah, give me Auburn.
So Auburn covers, A&M wins.
Yep.
Okay. Um, Indiana at Iowa. Indiana's favored by 7.5. How'd this one play out? Oh wait, I didn't get my pick yet, did I?
Yeah,
Auburn at
you gotta
A&M.
give your pick.
I'm just too fired up with these rapid fires. I got Texas A&M covering it. I think they cover fairly easily, actually. Indiana at Iowa, 7.5. Indiana favorite. Who covers?
Who covers? I,
Who?
I think we have a storm watch in Iowa
No.
City this
Ooh.
weekend.
Ooh.
Screw Kirk Signetti. Screw Indiana. They're on their high horse right now. Oh, we're so good because we beat up Illinois. And Kirk Ferentz is going to throw for 65 yards on Saturday, and they're going to beat them. So give me the Hawkeyes on the money line.
It's a scary place to play. You gotta go there. You gotta wave at the sick children, and then you
Nah,
gotta.
I don't even think Kirk Signetti's going to weigh at him. That's how big of a
He,
POS he is.
he
I
is
don't even
kind
think
of
he's
a.
going to wave.
Yeah, he is a jackass. But what are you gonna do? And that jackass doesn't give a two. You know what about those kids, and he's gonna light up Iowa because that's the kind of guy he is. He's like, I don't care about waving these kids. I don't care if these kids want Iowa to win. We're blowing up Iowa. Indiana wins easily. I just don't think Iowa has the firepower to match Indiana. So give me Indiana to cover easily. BYU at Colorado. BYU is a 6.5 point favorite. Who you got in this one?
What's better than one field storming? Two field stormers. Give me the Colorado Buffaloes on the money line. Uh, Coach Sanders is 1-7 against ranked teams in his tenure at Colorado. his first and only ranked win is his first ever game against TCU on the road. But yeah, BYU, I don't know why they're ranked. Their quarterback wears like number 47 or something like that, so that's pretty lame. Yeah, Caden Salter has more passing yards than their quarterback, and Caden Salter's only played in 2 games this year. So, yeah, screw BYU. Revenge game for Colorado. Give me the Buffs.
It's too bad BYU doesn't drink alcohol because they're gonna need something to drown their sorrows because Colorado's gonna win that game handily. Chug that Mountain Dew, boys, because Colorado's gonna win. And like you said, they're gonna storm that field. It's gonna be a ranked win for Coach Prime.
Yep.
Yeah. Hey, so I think that's it for hot takes and game breaks. So we'll be back sometime next week to drop how these games went, and hopefully I did well. Last week I went 3-5. You went 5-3 last week. You're catching up on me. I'm 17 and 18, and you're 15 and 20. So you're catching up on
Yep.
me.
We're making our way back, and the
Making
Iowa
progress.
Hawkeyes are going to help me.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. When I was right, I was right. Like, I was right on Indiana, and oh my God, was I right on Indiana. I was right on Texas Tech, and oh my God, was I right on Texas Tech. Now, you were right on more than I was right, but margin of victory. Hey, you know what I mean? If only we covered it that way, right?
Yeah.
But that's it for Hot Takes and Game Breaks. I'm your boy Matt. He's Taylor. Peace out. OHIO. Go Buckeyes.
Go blue. Hey, and I wore my purple shirt today. Undercover Washington fan. If they do win, I do not care. But yeah, I had to rock the purple today.
Yeah, he's little stallions out there, trying to blend in, with with the other team. I see you.
Yep.
Stealing signs. I got you. Nah. Peace out.